One company can have a beautifully cataloged customer table and still leak the exported spreadsheet. That is the first thing to understand about Microsoft Purview. The catalog, the security controls, and the compliance tools are connected, but they are not one automatic shield. In under 5 minutes, you will learn the 3 lanes. Follow one dataset through them, build a sensible first pilot, and avoid the licensing and permission traps. Purview is a portfolio reached through purviewmicrosoft.com. The governance lane answers, what data do we have? What does it mean? Who owns it? And can people find and trust it? The security lane asks which content is sensitive and what users or apps may do with it. The compliance lane supports retention, audit, investigation, and legal evidence workflows. Think of an airport. Data map is radar. Unified catalog is the departures board and service desk. DLP is the checkpoint, and eDiscovery is the evidence room. Useful analogy: separate operating rules. Here is the architecture that makes the distinction matter. Data map scans or ingests technical, business, operational, and semantic metadata across supported sources. It stores the map, classifications, and lineage, not the underlying rows and files. Unified catalog builds on that metadata. Governance domains group responsibility, while data products package related assets around a business use case. Owners can add definitions, glossary terms, quality rules, and access workflows. So a catalog role can help someone discover a table, but it does not grant permission to query the database. Imagine a finance analyst needs a trusted customer revenue dataset. Start in the current Purview portal and check settings, then account, because available cards depend on the account, subscription, and roles. For the full governance workflow, an authorized administrator sets up a Purview enterprise instance, connects pay-as-you-go billing, assigns least privilege roles, and registers a supported Azure SQL source. A scan feeds metadata and classifications into data map. Next, create a finance governance domain and a customer revenue data product. Attach the relevant table or report, name an owner, define customer ID in the glossary, and add a completeness rule for that field. Publish the product to the intended catalog readers. The analyst can now search for a business-ready product instead of guessing which technical table is authoritative. Discovery is not database access. A request in Unified Catalog can facilitate approval, but the underlying source still enforces its own authorization and any configured access integration. Now follow a separate path. If the analyst exports customer records into a supported Microsoft 365 location or device, information protection can classify sensitive content and apply a sensitivity label. A label may add markings, restrict access, or encrypt. A DLP policy then evaluates the content, location, conditions, and activity. Depending on policy design, it can audit, warn, block, or allow an override. DLP uses content analysis, including patterns and machine learning, rather than relying only on exact keywords. Roll policies out in stages and tune them. That last step is an operational recommendation to reduce false positives and user friction. The compliance lane has a different job. Audit, retention and records tools, compliance manager, and eDiscovery support regulatory and investigative work. In an authorized eDiscovery case, teams can preserve content with holds, search Microsoft 365 locations, collect results, use review sets where licensed, and export evidence. That is not a richer catalog search. It is a scoped case workflow, with sensitive permissions and standard versus premium differences. Before your pilot, check for boundaries. Free governance is limited for evaluation, development, and test. The full workflow needs enterprise capabilities. Governance can meter unique governed assets per day and consume processing units for quality and health actions. Microsoft 365 security and compliance entitlements vary by scenario, and portal visibility alone does not prove entitlement. Connectors, regions, and preview status also vary. Start with one valuable domain, one source, one data product, and one carefully staged protection policy, then monitor access, quality, policy matches, and cost. Remember the model, map the metadata, make it useful, protect sensitive use, and prove what happened when authorized. Use PurviewMicrosoft.com, not a classic portal tutorial. Build the smallest measurable pilot, and visit tertiary courses for WSQ-funded training.